Welcome to signing day. We're just talking as we're walking down here, just has a totally different feel to it with all that's going on. Getting ready for a bowl game and all the things that you have to do with that, and then you just kind of slip in a very important day in the midst of all that, but still doesn't diminish how big it is and how important each signing class is for your program and your future. But before I get into that, just want to congratulate Brandon Shelby and his wife Jen on their new baby girl that was born yesterday, which is awesome. So really happy for them and appreciate all their hard work and for our program. But obviously he's with his family right now. Wasn't at practice today and shouldn't have been. So he needs to be with his family. So happy for them, and also just want to congratulate Kayla DeBoer on the opportunity he's been given at Fresno State. Once again, I know I sent out a tweet on that, but really appreciate all he's done for our program and him coming here and doing such a great job. And he's such a first-class person and husband and father, and very much worthy of being the head coach at Division I level. And so I know that I really want to just thank him and really wish him nothing but the best. And so our goal, and we've talked, and is for him to call the offense during the bowl game, and that's the intent for us to make that work. Obviously, some things we have to work through to get that to that point, but we've talked through both administrations with that, and just trying to make sure we can coordinate that and do our best to be able to allow him to do the job he needs to do there, and also be able to finish strong. It's been a special season. He wants to be able to finish it out. So that's the hope, that's the plan, and we'll continue to work on that. And then also just want to congratulate Fred Glass on his retirement, and I just want to thank him publicly for all that he's done for this program and all of athletics here at Indiana, and just to be able to represent the football program and under his leadership. I just want to thank him for all that he's done for us and for all that the foundation has been laid for the future of all our programs here. And then also the class. So really excited about this group. I feel like that it kind of embodies, even though it's not a very high in number, we knew it was going to be a smaller class this year with our numbers that we're losing, but at the same time, heavy on the offensive line, which it needed to be, and also it's just got a little bit of a good flavor at each position. We had a chance to address those needs and guys that will be graduating, and like the length of the class. You notice there's nobody listed under 6 foot. Got some length at the skill positions on both sides of the football, and then a lot of length on the offensive line, which is important to be able to develop and get these guys where they need to be. Really believe in our strength conditioning program, our nutrition program here. All we've invested in that, and that allows us to be able to bring young men in here that have a certain structure physically that you're looking for, and a body type that you're looking for, and then the character fit that you're looking for, and be able to plug those guys into the system and then develop them. You know, as an athlete, which involves being a student first, a high character guy that wants to be developed in his leadership and his character and decision making in life, and then ultimately, you know, in the weight room there where our strength staff spends so much time with them. So trying to find guys that fit those 3 qualities for us, and feel like this class has been able to address those needs and allow us to continue to build on the foundation that we've laid here with the first 2 classes, and allow a very young football team to be added to with this class. Questions?
Matt Weaver.
Coach, I heard that there's a few guys that you can't talk about, we're still going after. I think we still have a few spots, still got the February signing date. From between now and then, are there a couple positions you'd like to get, a couple type of players you'd like to get between now and that second signing period?
Yeah, I would say as you go through and you look, we have 2 spots available, which is kind of what you'd like to have, some wiggle room with that. And so I would say defensively, looking for a rush in is kind of a priority for us, to try to be able to continue to pursue that position. And then I would say best available on offense. You know, that would be the way I would describe that. You know, it could be a variety of positions. You know, game changer tight end, a dynamic running back, a dynamic receiver. You know, playmaker, good guy, you get the ball in his hand. So you know, you don't have a whole lot of spots, but to be able to say, hey, this is a. If you say we were looking for something like that, if you find that, we'd be interested for sure. So we're going to be looking at those types of options.
Zach and Taylor.
2 questions that kind of overlap. It seemed like there might be a few
mid-year guys in this class. Who do you expect in mid-year? And I guess kind of concurrent to that, are there guys that you see and you kind of put a pin in them and say, I'm going to keep an eye on him early in terms of maybe his impact, his ability to impact right away?
Well, I say first of all, we have the opportunity to have 9 of these guys to be mid-year guys, so which would be a record number since I've been here, so we'll get that list finalized and then make that public later. But at the same time, there's that gives them a tremendous advantage. That goes into the next part of your question of who can come in and make a difference and have an opportunity to help us earlier. I think having that opportunity, Matt Bedford would be a prime example of that. He came at mid-year a year ago, and it was obviously the difference in him being ready when called upon to be able to play, and probably wouldn't have been ready had he not had that opportunity. So once we get that group finalized and everything squared away with those guys, there's several that are still in the process of getting some things done for that, but we could have as many as 9 out of this class joining us mid-year.
Taylor and Tom.
Coach, obviously, Coach Hiller had a good performance this season with the offensive line, but as far as the recruiting goes, it was very offensive line heavy. But just what's your evaluation of kind of his performance on the recruiting trail for this cycle specifically?
Well, I think you go through it, and what we try to do is identify certain body types, whether an inside guy or an outside guy. Inside guy meaning a guy that can play guard or center, and then an outside guy, who has the skill set and the length to play tackle. And it was a huge priority for us to be able to get some high school guys that could do that. Luke Wigginson's a guy, I think, out of high school here in Indiana at Fort Wayne Winger, has the length and obviously needs to develop and get stronger and all that. But basically, you want to recruit the things that you can't change, and it's they're not going to usually get much taller once you get him here. So you want to get that length. And Luke Haggard, also a guy that we just that just joined our class here at the end, and he is as a junior college guy who qualified out of high school and was a guy that had played a lot of defense and then moves to offense when he goes to junior college, and he's 6'7" and is lean but has a really good athletic skill set, and really excited about him. So I feel like those 2 guys really kind of give us that length you're looking for, and then you got a guy inside that Randy Holtz he's a guy you could say can do both. It's nice to go to have a guy that can be in both of those spots, and he's 6'7", 350 plus pounds, so he's a rather large human being, and so you need those big guys in this conference. So, and I also like the inside guys that we got. I think Cam Knight, which is Brandon's younger brother, is a guy. He comes to camp and is just such a good athlete. Ran really well, changed the direction. He's strong. He's tough. We were getting because of his brother and the family and the mindset that he's going to bring, and probably could be a center for us, hoping to do that spot. So you feel like you kind of, Brady Feeney's that big old guard, big old 320-pound guy that gives you a lot of girth in there. So I think Coach did a really good job of identifying these types of bodies that we're looking for each spot. And then you got, we said, it'd be nice to be able to have an older guy, and that's where Dylan Powell gives us a chance to get a grad transfer from Stanford. Excellent student, that's going to obviously come here as a grad transfer, so he's already done with his undergraduate, and I just really think he gives us a chance to kind of fill some of those holes you have in the upper part of our class, and I feel like that over time have kind of been created with some injuries and things that have caused guys to not be able to finish. So I feel like that Coach understood that, Coach Hiller, and addressed those needs, and I really like our offensive line class.
Tom, then Jim.
Coach's last couple of recruiting classes have been built heavily on the kids from Florida, and it's just kind of surprising that there's not any this year. Is it just coincidental, or is there any sort of explanation for that?
No, probably just coincidental. We had a bunch of guys that we recruited down there, and we'll keep going down there, in phase 2 when we go out in January, and I get to go out and do that. So yeah, it's kind of just happened to be that way. We obviously have a whole bunch on our roster, and I'm sure we'll have some here, in the future. But no, it's obviously always going to be a huge priority for us, and we got 9 different states represented, and got guys from all across the country. So the bottom line is we're going to go where we got to go to find the best fit, and the guys end up signing with us and want to be here, and so yeah, Florida's always going to be a priority.
Jim, then John.
Coach, recruiting is a all hands on deck endeavor. We know that, so you've been involved in that for a long time. But as the head coach now, 3rd year, differences between that first season, this season, is it more of a comfort level, difference in style of recruiting, any changes you've made?
Well, I think, for me, I've become more probably stringent on just the fit, I've always talked about it, but it's just been proven over and again, the last few years how critical that is once you get them here, and their chance of success with you goes way up when they fit the kind of guy you're looking for in regards to, as I explain it to our recruits and their families, is when the things that you value as a family, the things that you list and say, hey, these are the most important things to me when I'm looking for a school, and those match up with the values of the program, it's a really good fit, and that's where it's going to give you lasting power as a young man that's going to come here, because as I tell him, hey, it's not going to be easy, it's going to be hard, and if you don't understand that, you've been misled, and so things aren't going to go your way. And when they don't go your way, and when things get hard, and when things get tough, are you going to stay and you're going to fight? And when you believe in your heart that this is home and this is where you're supposed to be, and this is where you want to be, then you fight and you stay and you persevere, and you basically start to develop grit, which is what we think is such a critical part of this program. So that's where I would say just probably stronger than ever how critical that is. And if I don't feel good about that, I don't care how good a player he is, I'm really leery to bring him in here. So that's why I think you just kind of get a little more conviction driven on some of that stuff, and then also you just try to do a better job of projecting. Once you kind of know the model of a young man that has success here, and then you just feel more comfortable saying, hey, this guy reminds us of this guy, and we think he has a chance to really help us either whether on the field or off the field in the way they fit with us.
Jonathan Peaks.
I think Dylan Powell missed all of last year, so is there a hope he could have one more year than just the one? And why do you want an older guy in this class?
There is, he, you don't know about those. They have to apply for those once they get through their eligibility, but the projection would be, a very high probability that he would get that extra year. So yeah, we're hoping to get 2 more with him. And the answer to that would be why is because, we have a strong senior class of offensive linemen, but we lost some guys that are in that junior class. And so to me, it was important to be able to at least address, that position and that age. And because we didn't want to bring in more than we did a certain number of high school guys. You wanted to be able to kind of space them out a little bit. And so that to me, it's always about, we always look at our classes, and we have a whole big graph of this where we go through and just try to project, who you're going to lose each year and where the holes are. And it always takes time to kind of get that all fleshed out over time. And we're still in certain positions not where we need to be yet. We're kind of a little more heavy in some spots, and so you want to get a little more disbursement evenly, so you don't have a whole bunch of guys leaving at one time. And so we're not totally in balance yet. It's going to take us a couple more cycles to get to that point. Right now we're super heavy in the younger groups, and a little light. Like our junior class is the smallest class of our whole team, like the current juniors right now. So we'll have an even smaller class next year. We have such a huge number of current sophomores and freshmen on our team right now. So those are just kind of trying to figure out. That's why we didn't want to take too many old linemen that were all just right out of high school, because it kind of gets your numbers a little bit off.
Peaks and Kevin.
Can you, what sold you on Dexter Williams and now having 4 scholarship quarterbacks next year? How important is that?
Well, first of all, I think we've learned, that you better have several. Guys get hurt, things happen, and we decided to go through and make sure we had that 4th guy on this football team that's on scholarship. And the thing that stuck out to me about him was, initially when you watch his film, is his arm strength. And to me, I've just kind of become just a stronger believer in that the arm talent piece is such a big deal. You work from there. He has the Big Ten arm talent, and then the ability to extend plays with his legs. He gives you that. But he has the thickness and the girth to be able to play in this conference. He's 200 pounds coming out of high school. He's going to be a mid-year guy, so he'll be here with us here soon, and so get a chance to have that whole extra semester of development. And then he's just such a, when you meet him and you get to know him and his family, I mean, he just got that special charisma about him, that you want from a guy that leads as the face of your team in the future and at that position. And go on campus and meet everybody at this school, and they just rave about him. We joked about being the mayor of the whole area, because everybody just loves him, and they just the same constant thing back of his character, his leadership, and the way he treats people every day. And just that's the kind of guys you want, in that position, because they represent you, and they get in front of the media and they talk, and they have to be able to do a great job with that. And I can see him just being that kind of guy, So, and also a guy that kind of understood, our roster and where we were and who's in front of him and what he's going to need to do when he comes here, and to be able to invest in his his development and be able to understand that, you know. And I think that's the big key for a lot of these guys in this class, because we do have a young football team. And so when you go through and recruit, they see all these freshmen and sophomores in front of them. And so it's like, okay, it's a little bit different dynamic than in the last couple of years, you know. So you have to really kind of maneuver that as well to be able to get them to understand, you know, the reality of what they need to do to come here. And so you guys that we talked a lot about, guys that have a high ceiling, guys that have the length that you can build on and develop and allow them to be able to know, I'm going to come here to invest in this program, invest in all the things that we're being asked to do. And then when my time is called, I'm going to be ready to be a Big Ten football player.
Kevin and Zach.
I know it's only been 24 hours, but have you had thoughts about what you're looking for in a new offensive coordinator, and do you consider internal candidates, or is it a national search, or how do you view it?
Well, I would just say this, you know, we our biggest focus right now, and I told this to our team, you know, we had our first team meeting this morning after the news came out, and so talked to our guys about it and celebrated it with them. And but I did, as I told them, I said I believe in what we're doing offensively, you know, and we have a system in place that our guys have bought into and have executed at a high level. And we got a very young football team. A lot of our offensive guys are going to be back for next year. The vast majority of them are going to be back. So to me, you know, without going any further into this, I'll just say that I do want to keep the same system. I think that's very important, you know, because I just feel like that I don't want to have a new system with maybe the third one in 3 years for our quarterbacks, and I don't think that's in our best interest. And so to be able to stay true to that is really, to me, from a system perspective, is going to be the key.
Zach and Cam.
I guess just to follow up on that, and, is that something where someone internal would be more appealing, or is it more the idea that whether it's internal or external, you're looking for somebody who brings those concepts, who's looking for those specific kinds of, I guess, scheme advantages?
Yeah, I would say more specific to keeping the concepts the same, you know, and so it can kind of leave you to either or options. But yeah, we do have some guys on staff that have you know, can do a great job, you know. So, but at the same time, you know, to me, it's more about being able to be consistent conceptually, that we don't have, you know, dramatic changes.
Cam.
I guess, Tom, kind of from a recruiting aspect of this, when something happens like your offensive coordinator leaves so close to signing day, does that require any extra phone calls to players to kind of reassure them of that they're going to come here and still get the same experience, or just how does that?
It does, yeah. It's a good question. We did make those phone calls to be very proactive about that and just be upfront and honest with them. And I was the one to talk to those guys, and my whole thing was that I wanted to make sure that they knew that first of all, that's the path that I was on. You know, I was an assistant. Assistants want to have a chance to be coordinators, and coordinators want to have a chance to be head coaches. And so we celebrate that, and that's part of, hey, you have success and you do things at a high level, then people are going to want your guys, and that's a compliment to what you're doing. So we talked about that to our recruits and guys that hadn't signed yet, but they were getting ready to sign. But they were committed to us, and I don't think any one of them really wavered. But we did make those phone calls and make sure they heard from us and knew that you know, we're committed to being able to, you know. To me, the thing is that, and we just talked about this, I get these questions a lot in recruiting about coaches and how long they're going to be here, and everybody wants to know. And I said, you know, the key is the head coach. You know, head coach changes, everything changes. You know, so to me, you're going to have the chance of every single position coach and coordinator in your 4 years or 5 years here being the exact same guy. You know, is probably not realistic in terms of, you know, how this game works. You know, guys get opportunities. You know, and so we got a talented coaching staff, and those guys are going to have opportunities to move forward, and there'll be others in the future, and that's okay. You know, so, but you just have to be ready for that, you know. And obviously timing was not ideal, but at the same time, I understood why they did it, because they needed to move forward with their program, and that's understandable. So, but that's just part of what you have to deal with, and there's definitely, you know, creates some uncertainty for guys, and you just have to be proactive with that and be open and honest with it.
Fish and Matt Weaver.
Coach, can you talk about Rashawn Williams a little bit, what he means from a receiving perspective, and what kind of player he is? I have a second question after that.
Okay. Well, you know, Rashawn to me is just a very talented young man. Love his work ethic, man. I tell you, he's a worker, you know, and I just think he has a chance to come here and really dive into all that we have for him in his development. To be able to, you know, he's a 6'2", 200-pound guy that has strong hands and runs good routes and just makes a lot of tough contested catches, and he's a competitor, and but also just has a great charisma about him, personality, and just love. And he was a guy that really kind of took the class, and he's an early guy, committed, and major recruiter for us, and just getting guys on board and getting group texts together, and just kind of has that personality about him. You know, there's several guys in this class that kind of have that, but he was probably the leader in regards to being able to. He's always texting, hey, we got this guy that we need to look at. And he was just really, you know, aggressive about wanting to build his class. You know, so I just love that. I just think that just shows a guy that cares and kind of gets it, because it is. It's not just about him. He's better when he's got better guys around him. So I think he comes here with already understanding that mindset. So, but I do think he's got a chance to be a lot better player than he is right now. You know, I think he's a guy that can really grow and develop, and Coach Hurd's going to do a great job coaching and getting our strength staff and getting that weight room and getting his body, you know, to change in that regard. So he's got a good frame, you know, and like his length, and just, you know, I just love the fact that he just goes and gets the ball.
Has Coy Cronk made a decision yet on what he plans to do for next year, and or any other players that are fourth-year guys that have another year of eligibility, any of those guys decided what they're going to do?
Yeah, I would say so. So in regards to Coy, you know, he's working really hard to get back, and you know, I know obviously as a senior, you know, would love to have the opportunity to be able to move on and play in the NFL if that's, you know, if he can get healthy, you know, and so if he's not going to be able to healthy enough to do that, then you know, it seems like he would be, you know, open and willing to just go back and be able to play that last year, you know. So, but that's something he is going to work through, and we're kind of just being patient right now. Right now, the whole focus is get healthy. You know, get healthy. He's working his tail off, and then we'll just kind of see what happens with that. But and then in regards to the rest of the guys, you know, all the guys that we always submit a few guys' names to the NFL to kind of see where their draft status will be, you know. And so as of right now, I don't really expect there to be a lot of movement there, but we'll see. We'll see how it kind of happens. That's to me is we let that process play itself out. It's still a bit early, and we'll let the NFL give their evaluations, and we'll sit down with them and have a conversation with the family and help them make the best decision possible.
Matt and then Zach.
Coach, last year when you went through the process before you hired Coach DeBoer, you talked about how pleased you were with the reception you got from people that you talked to about the position. Are you finding after the season you had with all the personnel you guys got back on offense, people are reaching out to you, coaches, or being proactive and telling you that they'd be interested in the position?
Oh, my phone's blowing up. Yes, and it was the minute it got announced. So that's accurate.
Zach.
I don't think he's come up yet. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. DeMarje Lewis, is that correct?
DeMarche.
Just kind of, first of all, is he a three technique in your eyes? And second of all, just what do you think he brings? You've always talked about the importance of those kind of disruptive interior guys. Just what do you see in him?
Yeah, he was committed to an SEC school and fits that build. You know, he's 6'3", 290-some pounds, right out of high school, athletic, high energy, disruptive. You know, we always talk about twitch and explosiveness and just pop that these guys play with, and he has that, you know, and they're hard to find. You know, those are guys that are valuable guys, and another one that just brings a lot of energy. I think he's going to bring a lot of, you know, juice to that room, and he's going to practice hard, play hard, and has a really good personality about him. But he's explosive, and that to me is what you need. I mean, you need as many big 300-pound guys that can run and change direction and be explosive. So to me, he has a three technique. That's what we project him as, and that's a big, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of guys on that defensive line that were graduating, so it was a small group that we're going to bring in. But I think he really has a chance to be a special player.
John.
Javon Swinton is listed as an athlete. Is that leaning more to the offensive or defensive side?
He plays both, and he's an extremely talented basketball player. So he brings a lot of skill to our team. And he's going to probably start at receiver. Would be you know, like I said, he's a guy that plays both sides. He could be a DB for us. He could play receiver. But sitting down with him, he wants to start there, and I'm fine with that. So he may stay there and be a receiver the whole time. So he's 6'2", and just good ball skills. Got good speed, and but because you know the basketball, when the good basketball players are usually good DBs too. You know, because of the quickness of the feet and all the change of direction that goes for both sports. So just love the versatility that he brings, and can do lots of different things. So just really, you know, excited about him.
Matt, that's one.
One year when you went to a bowl game and had some mid-year guys, there was a room place where if their year was done, they could come and practice and some of the bowl practices. Is that still in place? And do you see any of these mid-year guys maybe getting a few workouts with your team?
It is a rule, and there's a lot of different things that have to happen to fall in place for that to be able to be done. And so Ty Wise is going to be one of those that's going to do that with us. He'll be here with us here this weekend and start with us, and he can be with us for the 3 days. It can only happen on campus. So once we go to the bowl site, he can't go to that. But yeah, he'd get a chance to do that, and we have had a few done that in the past. Yeah, and Ty's, we have 6 in-state guys, 6 guys from Indiana that we signed, and he's Mr. Football for the linebacker position, and Randy was Mr. Football for the O-line position, so a lot of really good players in this state in this class, and Ty's one of the top guys, and really excited about him, so yeah, he'll be with us for maybe, I think he's the only one for the bowl practice.
All right, Zach.
Just want to follow on that very quickly. What do you do with guys like that? Because I imagine you can't just sort of throw him in, whole hog, but to have the opportunity to get him out on the field before spring practice, before off-season workouts, just what can a guy get, I guess, even from that small sample size?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing is just the familiarity, the routine. He's going to sit in the meetings, he's probably not even going to go full pads, be honest with you. They'll probably be in limited. He'll have a helmet, on, and we'll probably do that perspective. He'll do drills and individual work more than anything, not just going to throw him in there. I just think that it's just being able to be here. I mean, I know he's super excited, to be in the meetings and be at practice and be a part of it and get a chance to hang out with your teammates and be in the locker room with them. I just, I think it's pretty cool that he's had a chance to do that, and he's a kid that, just loves the opportunity he's been given here, very, very appreciative of it, and he'll maximize it. So that's kind of what you do, it would be, the position might vary based on what you could do with him, but at the same time, I don't see him being just thrown in there and go live or anything.
All right, thanks, Tom.
All right, great. Elio.